Greetings internet, welcome back to the channel. I just love when we get together like this and do these casual, just like, let's chat, let's sit down, let's do the thing, let's just talk about life's problems together, because it just makes it better when you talk about it, when you just really shed light on things that you don't think anyone else is going through, but it turns out it's so much more common than you ever thought. Is it safe to say at this point that everyone is stressed in some way, shape, or form? Everyone feels like they need a vacation. Even when they're on vacation, they feel like they need a vacation from their vacation, or like during the weekend, they need a weekend after the weekend. Like, I think we're all kind of like in that boat, but no one ever talks about how to deal with that, you know? That is why I love doing these videos, these Dear Katy videos, where you guys write in your questions, your things, your just life things that you need someone to unpack. I am the unpacker. I'm an expert unpacker. I'm one of those people that unpacks the day of the trip. Like the day we return, I unpack. I'm good at unpacking, reading between the lines, so that is what we're doing today. But I will say I am not a therapist. I am not a psychologist. I'm just Katy, whatever the heck you would call me. I'm just me. I'm just here. I'm just here for the ride. I'm here for the fun, here for the free food. That was like not even funny. Sometimes I say things, I'm like, God, why did I say that? Anyway, but if you guys are looking for a therapist, if you guys are in the market for someone who really knows their stuff, who's really studied and great at what they do, great at listening, and are unbiased, definitely check out BetterHelp. This video is sponsored by BetterHelp. The reason why I like BetterHelp is I've moved a bunch. I was like in LA for a bit. I never know where the heck I'm gonna be. So virtual therapy is a game changer. You can do it without even showing your face, which is awesome if that's something that freaks you out. It's not like the typical, like, let me lay in a chair and like tell someone my problems. It's very casual. It's literally whatever you want it to be. That's the beauty of therapy. It can literally be whatever you want it to be. So check out BetterHelp. I'll have all the links down below. I'm just kind of here bouncing off ideas, but these people actually know what they're doing. BetterHelp is great. You guys can get started and start talking to someone in 48 hours. I love therapy. I feel like people need to talk about it more because it's a lot less scary than I thought it was going to be before I did it. I really thought it was this scary, overwhelming thing. And I'm very good at sharing, I guess, like on the internet, but there's certain things that I thought were gonna be super painful to talk about, and it turns out getting certain things off your chest actually, it's therapeutic. Who would have thought? It's one of those things where you shouldn't feel ashamed of it, because normal human struggles are exactly that, they are normal. But in this video, I'm gonna answer a bunch of your questions you guys asked me over on Instagram. I'm going to do my very best to just be a sounding board for you guys, to just offer what I would do in these situations. I want you guys to see this video as like a warm hug, and I hear you sort of video. That's really what I'm here for. I wish we could all hug, just one big hug. Maybe not, that's like not really kosher for these times, I guess. But first question I'm gonna answer, let's just do that, okay? Let's do the damn thing. Dear Katy, after 10 plus years of dating, having constantly been cheated on, abused, and manipulated, it feels like the hopeless romantic in me has died and I want to give up. How can I survive this and not lose faith entirely? Gosh, I am so right there with you on this one. So I was at a business lunch earlier today. I got truffle pasta and it truly rocked my world. Il Buco is the restaurant if you guys are in New York. We went to this lunch, myself, my manager, and these two women that work at this very successful candle brand. So we're sitting at lunch talking about like businessy subjects, about trends, about retail, about like all sorts of like very businessy smart girl subjects. And it always happens. It's like that one subject where you're like, you're going through, you're flipping through the pages of like, what do I talk about? And then all of a sudden it just rears its head and you just talk about it. Dating, relationships here. So one of the women that we were with, she was married, but the rest of us, we're talking about how horrible dating can be, how it can really chew you up and spit you out a lot of the time, and it makes you lose hope. Sorry, a little intermission there to lower the blinds because I was being blinded. I guess that's why blinds are called that, so you're not being blinded. Are they related somehow? Anyway, it comes up, like literally I'm talking about like something totally unrelated with a client and it comes up. Are you single? Are you dating? It's like, it's very much a topic of conversation. It should not be something where people are ashamed to talk about it on the internet. Okay, now that we got through that, it's super brave to admit that you feel this way, because I know like there's a lot of rom-coms and things that really glamorize the whole dating experience. Like it can be this totally electric, beautiful, exciting, fast, like intoxicating thing, but it can also be exhausting. Like I was telling my friend Margot that it feels like when you're going on a Hinge date sometimes like you're going off to war. It's like I'm packing my bags going off to war every time I have to go out for a date, because I'm like, this is either going to be amazing or it's going to be a situation where I have to be the bearer of bad news and say, I'm sorry, I'm not interested in you, or I'm gonna get ghosted. There's just there's too many possibilities to the point where there's no way you could predict what's gonna happen. And so oftentimes you can like get your hopes up and then have your hopes smashed into smithereens, or maybe, just maybe it'll work out. And it's that part of it, that portion of the pie, the maybe it'll work out. That's the reason why we do it. That's the reason why we subject ourselves to just, you know, going through a whole work day and then putting on our faces, getting our game faces on, in the sense of like mustering up the courage to go on a date. It's the maybe that I'm holding out for. The maybe it'll work out that I'm holding out for. And the way that I think of it, the way that I kind of rationalize it and kind of cheerlead my way into going on another date. Like it's one of those things where my friends are super helpful to encourage me, but it's also you have to encourage yourself, because you're the only one that's kind of in it with you. Like when you're going on the date, you're not bringing your friends along for the most part, unless you're going on a double date. So the way that I encourage myself to keep my head up when times are tough in the dating realm, when I feel hopeless, I've said it before, I always take breaks when I need to. I don't schedule a date every single week of my existence, because like then I will be totally burnt out. I visualize what I want, okay? Like I want that comfortable relationship with someone that really inspires me in a way that they're not my sole motivation for life. They're not the entirety of my existence. Like they are not my sun, moon, and stars. They are a great person that really motivates me and makes me feel confident and a bunch of things, but I can do that on my own too. First of all, accept that it will happen, okay? It will happen, it will. It will. If you want it to, it will, okay? It might not look how you are expecting it to look right now, but if love and companionship and a really awesome relationship is what you want, you will get it eventually. You just need to keep going. That's what I tell myself. I almost picture that version of myself, like the one that's like found the person that I love and is doing life with that person. I picture that Katie as a different, like a separate human being almost to me. And she's like at the movie theater, sitting there watching me, like this current life unfold. And she's like, come on. She's like cheering for me. You know how you like cheer for certain characters in a movie? Like I picture her cheering for me, because everything that she has would not be possible if it wasn't for this version of me, the one that is out here grinding, that is going on dates and getting disappointed and having horrible experiences and like mediocre experiences and really great ones that go nowhere. Like that version of me is depending on me the same way that my current self really depended on my younger self, like the one that was grinding at a young age, like doing all of this work at like 14 years old so I could have this career. It's the same thing. Like you have to trust each version of yourself, because something so much greater will come from the work that you're putting in right now. And it might not look how you want it to look or how you expect it to look, but it all makes for a juicier storyline, for a plot, you know? And I just recommend documenting your life right now as much as possible, because it's going to be so fun to look back one day, like reading your old journals and things like that when you were struggling, and seeing how all of your work really paid off. I've said it before, each experience is love or a lesson. Each bad date is love or a lesson. You just have to do it. I'm a determined person, and I know that I will find love, or love will find me one day. So I always just remind myself of that. I take breaks from dating when I need to, when I'm just exhausted. And like clockwork, it always just creeps back in and I find the courage to try again. So I feel like the imposter syndrome question comes up like nearly every Q&A. But I was actually thinking about this in my cab home from this meeting I was at earlier. about this question, and I kind of came up with a different answer than I usually give. So I'm gonna read the question. It says, Dear Katie, I began a new marketing job 3 months ago, and I still can't help but have imposter syndrome. I love what I'm doing, I'm good, and I know what I'm doing. My boss even compliments my ideas and says how great I'm doing. How do I shake these feelings of being an imposter? So first little tidbit to get out of the way. Everyone feels imposter syndrome at one point in your career. I think that it's a good thing. I know, call me crazy. I think it's a good thing to feel some degree of imposter syndrome, because that means that you are taking risks. You are in a career, in a role where you feel improvement is possible. Like you could, like that's a good thing, because when you're too comfortable where you are, where you feel like you're the expert in the room, that's when it's time to move on somewhere else, because the way that you grow is through being a little confused sometimes, through learning from people who are better than you. Like that is truly how you keep raising the bar, you keep climbing the ladder. A very high percentage of people, okay, I don't know percentage, but a freaking high one of people, even though they seem as though they are fully like, they know their stuff, they know where the bathroom is at this company, but they also know where the CEO is, and they're not afraid to talk to the CEO, and they know everything like backwards, forwards, upside down, and you're just mastering how to figure out where the bathroom is at your freaking office. Those people, those intimidating people that seem like they know their stuff and like they are way better than you, are just as insecure for different reasons, probably. Maybe they're also feeling some imposter syndrome. That's totally possible. But they're also looking at you, being maybe a younger person. You are understanding new technologies that are coming out faster than them. Like there are certain advantages that come with being new. Because also you can make the point, like someone who's been at the company for a while, who has been in the industry for a while, like they are better. Not necessarily, because the industry, as years tick on, those people become like so tunnel visioned in what they're doing that they don't have fresh perspective. You, as a newcomer, have fresh perspective, and that is something they don't have. Maybe you have outsider perspective from another company and you're coming into this new industry, or you're young, you may be like a Gen Z or a young millennial, and you understand TikTok and they don't. Like you have strengths that these people that seem like they have everything together do not have, and that's just the nature of humanity. It's something that you need to latch on to. You need to realize, you need to figure out what your strengths are. What are those things that your boss always compliments you on? What are those things that you are good at, but that you also like doing? Find those things, those magical things, and do more of them. Figure out why you're good at those things and amp that up in meetings. Know how to talk about yourself with confidence. Like, know that. I have like abandoned the fear of being narcissistic when I talk about my work long ago, because that's what separates the confident people and the non-confident people. You need to speak loud and proud about those things that you like, that you are good at, because no one's gonna do it for you. It's a very competitive space out there, as you know, especially in the marketing world, this person's question. So understand your strengths and know that everybody feels a degree of imposter syndrome. It means that you are growing, and growth is something that will lead you to your dream career, your dream life. Just keep climbing that ladder and recognize your strengths, and just keep doing more of those things you're good at. The sun just like went away when I said that. What does that mean? Do they agree with me up there or no? Yes or no? Dear Katie, I am currently seeing a guy who I'm not sure I want to continue seeing. He told me he needs time to determine if he is ready for a relationship with me. There are a few things in our situationship that I'm hesitant to continue. Future-wise, he wants kids. I do not. He doesn't really understand my mental health struggles. I have a great time with him, good chemistry, but I'm not sure if I want to continue investing time in him if we don't seem to have a long-term future. Just the fact that he's hesitant on getting into a relationship is worrying me. We've been together for about 4 months on and off. I'm not sure what to do. So many are telling me to let go, but something keeps me from moving on because I do like him. When it comes to situationships, let's talk about it. I understand people being hesitant before entering a relationship. That is a big commitment and a big decision, and it's not like you can just like do it and then take it back the next day. I've had friends, oh, the worst is when a guy's like, do you want to be my girlfriend? And then the next day he's like, oh wait, psych. It's almost like the post-it situation from Sex and the City, the post-it breakup. The part of this question I want to focus on is the part at the end where she's like, people are telling me to let go of him, but something keeps me from moving on because I do like him. I feel when we're in a situationship with someone and we get to the point where we're like, okay, this is not working on one side or both sides. This is not working. It's not sustainable. It's not something that we can continue at this rate. I know I need to end it, but there's still something making me hold on. This is why we hang on, because there is still a chance that it could work out. It's because of that maybe this is my person and I don't want to be the reason that it ends. Like, I don't want to do it. So that's when oftentimes the other person will do it and then like end it, and we'll get pissed because we're like, wait, I should have done it first. Like, I didn't want this to continue like months ago, and yet you're the person who gets to do it, who gets to pull the plug, and like, I wanted this to happen months ago. You come at a fork in the road. Do I stay or do I go? And you're like, well, can I just cut through the middle there? Like, you know, jump over the fork and still get to the end destination. It's just, I truly just think if you know, you know. I feel like a relationship should not be this stressful. And this feels very stressful to me. The fact that he doesn't understand your mental health. He also doesn't know if he wants to be with you. All signs are pointing to pull the darn plug, girl, but I understand why some part of you is still holding on, because you want it. It would just be a lot easier if it worked out, right? What if I told you that there is someone out there who has that chemistry, but also respects you and wants to be with you? You just haven't met them yet. Or maybe you have, but you're not with them right now. And every minute that you spend with this guy that you know is not right for you is taking away from the possibilities of meeting someone new. There are people for both of you. I am confident. If there's anything I believe in, I believe that everyone does have someone that is looking for them. And who knows, you guys could maybe find your way back to each other too, but it's just not the right time right now, and it's not working. I just suggest to cut the cord there. Yep, that's what I say. Dear Katie, I feel super bored and uninspired by life. I think of how pointless it all feels. Like, our purpose is to work and live the same day to day life, get married, have kids, raise them, then retire. And trust me, I know how pessimistic it sounds, but I can't stop seeing it that way. Maybe having a true passion would fix that, something you really love doing every day, but I can't seem to find that. Any advice on what to do when life feels horribly boring and mundane? Girl, this is super relatable. This is a super relatable concept. I feel that sometimes if you're living life by this like blueprint mentality of like, this is what I am supposed to do, and like the rest of my life is already kind of planned out for me, that's a really limiting way to look at life, but it is common because you see other people who have found happiness and success doing that, maybe your own parents. So you're like, okay, that's the way to live. I guess the first thing to do is to accept that that's not the only way to live. You don't have to live by this blueprint, this elaborate like timeline, so to speak. You don't have to live by that, but a lot of us do want to have kids and want to raise them and want to retire and do those things. I think it's about finding things to spice up those moments of your life. And a passion, like she said in the question, like a passion is something to help you through that, to make life feel worth living, which sounds really interesting, but yeah. And for me, you know, finding what I love to do, which is sharing on the internet, which is social media, which is design, like calligraphy, all these things, I really just stumbled into all of these things. I've said this before, it's that like fire in your belly that you feel when you're doing something that is just so amazing, that you love. I think it's about finding that thing that is just so uniquely yours. Like, it's your baby and you get to raise it, like not a physical baby necessarily, but like a thing that you love doing, and just doing more of it and accepting that at first you're gonna feel a little weird doing it. Like, maybe you might not feel totally confident in it, but it's something that is yours. When you start something that does make you feel that way, it's often pretty scary because there's a chance that it's not going to perform how you want it to. If you start a podcast, it might not totally kill it the first episode. If you start a new art hobby or something, or you start cooking, like it's going to be an uphill battle at first, and you're going to feel like, what's the point of me even doing this? Because we've been taught to view success in a very certain specific way. Success meaning numbers, success meaning money, success meaning applause from other people. Like, that is what we've seen success to be in the past, and so that's why we think that when we start something, So that's why we often feel like failures when we start something new, like a new passion project, because we forget that there's another super important metric, like way to measure success. And that is your happiness level while you're doing it. Like it could be a total like waste of time, so to speak, in the sense of like, I'm not making any money doing this. I'm not, you know, getting a ton of viewers and my friends aren't even like noticing that I'm doing this. But the most important metric in these passion projects is how you feel doing it, because it's truly therapeutic to do things that you don't need to be doing, but that make you feel amazing. And those things often can lead to being your full-time job, like it is for me. Like that's the beauty of it. You never know where it's gonna go. And it's kind of exciting not knowing. Like I just started a new podcast with my two best friends called Match Made in Manhattan, my friend Adam and Colby. We started this like, you know, relationships podcast. And it's so fun seeing them take on this passion project. It's been fun seeing them talk about how this is exciting for them, just starting something new. Starting something can be scary, but it's also so cool because you truly never know where it's gonna go. And I think infusing those little like passion, like little pockets of passion through your day-to-day really makes life worth living. So I think it's all about listening to your body and how you'll feel like a physical reaction when you're doing something you love. That thing might not even exist yet. It might be like in the next wave of social media app creation or who the heck knows. But once you find it, hold on to it and don't let it go, no matter how crazy life can get. That is my advice. So yeah, guys, hope you all enjoyed this video. Hope you took some little nuggets from it and enjoyed hearing me talk about things that are very normal problems to have. And I will talk to you guys all in my next video. Bye!